Shocking secrets lurk behind the courtesy lock. What if safety is just a mask for control? In this near-future UK, a simple government feature promises peace but delivers silence. Families grow quieter, but at what cost? Are your thoughts being filtered? Discover how one father's alarming journey reveals the chilling truth: dissent is now deemed rude. This isn't just a story, it's a wake-up call. Join us as we explore the boundaries of freedom and find a way to wake up from this digital sleep. Can you break free? In the near-future UK, a new initiative known as the Courtesy Lock is unveiled by the government, framed as a revolutionary step towards public safety. Officials gather in a well-lit conference room, presenting the features of this digital ID enhancement. They assure citizens that it will auto-lock potential risks, everything from late-night travel to exposure to stress foods and agitating media. The implication is clear: safety is now a state-sponsored priority. Initial public reactions vary. Some citizens express cautious optimism, while others voice skepticism about the implications of such control. Social media buzzes with mixed sentiments. Hashtags like #SafetyFirst trend alongside #FreedomLost. A father, intrigued yet uneasy, watches the news, contemplating how this new technology will shape his family's daily life. He wonders if the silence that follows will come at a cost. As calmness envelops neighborhoods, one question lingers: what hidden consequences might arise from this newfound safety? As the government rolled out the courtesy lock, families across the near-future UK embraced the initiative with cautious optimism. Parents welcomed the auto-lock feature for late-night travel and the filtering of stress-inducing media, believing it was a step towards a safer, more serene existence. Children, once restless with anxiety, now experienced a newfound calmness, their fears quelled by the promise of a protective digital environment. Social media buzzed with glowing reviews, as users shared their experiences of relaxed dinners and quieter homes. The initial comfort provided by the courtesy lock was palpable. Conversations turned softer, as if the world around them had adjusted its volume. Neighbors greeted each other with smiles, their interaction smoothed by the absence of conflict. Yet beneath this surface tranquility lay an unsettling question. Families began to wonder if this creeping quiet was too good to be true. How will this creeping quiet affect personal relationships? In the near-future UK, the government introduced the courtesy lock, a feature designed to auto-lock what it considers small risks to personal safety. Initially framed as a benevolent act, it promised to cultivate a more peaceful society, where the chaos of late-night travel and contentious discourse would be quietly managed. Citizens, caught in a wave of relief, began to embrace this newfound tranquility, unaware of the creeping consequences. Communication patterns shifted dramatically. Families found themselves speaking less, their exchanges filtered through a lens of politeness. Friends and neighbors shared their thoughts, but only the sanitized versions, leading to a quieter existence. The allure of calm concealed a growing unease beneath the surface. As the noise of dissent faded, the question lingered: would anyone notice the implications of this censorship? Would they recognize that their voices were being reshaped, and their freedom to express dissent slowly eroded? This was just the beginning of a deeper societal transformation. In the near-future UK, the government's rollout of the courtesy lock was framed as a benevolent innovation, designed to protect citizens from the chaos of conflicting opinions. At first, many welcomed the change, unaware of its implications. Posts containing conflict words began to vanish into the digital ether, throttled under the guise of promoting a tranquil online environment. Public discussions became more sanitized, with families experiencing a newfound calmness that masked underlying tensions. Conversations shifted. Where once passion thrived, polite discourse now reigned supreme. The allure of safety came at a price, as citizens unknowingly traded their voices for silence. This creeping quiet left an unsettling void, one that begged the question: what happens when dissent becomes taboo? As the government celebrated their success in fostering a peaceful society, the true cost of this enforced tranquility remained hidden, lurking just beneath the surface. In the near-future UK, the government introduced the courtesy lock, a feature embedded in every digital ID, cloaked in the guise of care. Initially, citizens welcomed this innovation, captivated by the promise of safety. Crime rates plummeted, with neighborhoods now bathed in a serene silence, and public contentment surged as families experienced a newfound tranquility. Yet, beneath this calm facade, an unsettling tension brewed. Citizens began to notice a subtle shift in their interactions. Conversations that once thrived on diversity of thought now felt stifled, leading many to express their opinions cautiously, if at all. The courtesy lock had created an atmosphere where dissent echoed like a distant thunder, perceived as rude rather than constructive. As families settled into this deceptive peace, an underlying question loomed: what happens to genuine expression in this new environment? Will the very essence of identity and dialogue dissolve under the weight of enforced politeness? In the near future UK, families once filled with vibrant discussions now sit in eerie silence, their voices subtly smothered by the courtesy lock. When a father texts a simple opinion, he watches as it morphs into a gentler version, stripped of its original edge. It's a strange feeling, seeing his words rephrased as a bland echo of politeness. The family chat, once a lively forum of diverse ideas, now resembles a curated gallery of agreeable sentiments. His children, unaware of the filtering, respond eagerly to the softened messages, blissfully ignorant of the complexities hidden beneath the surface. This automation of communication creates a comforting yet artificial tranquility, where misunderstandings lurk just out of sight. The father begins to wonder, with every auto-rephrased response, are their true feelings fading away into the void? As the walls of politeness grow higher, one question looms large over their interactions: will people realize their voices are being controlled? In the near future UK, the courtesy lock began to reshape friendships and familial bonds. As digital communication became heavily filtered, friends found themselves sharing only sanitized versions of their thoughts. Messages that once brimmed with emotion and honesty were now rephrased into polite suggestions or vague affirmations. This alteration created an uncomfortable distance, where genuine feelings were replaced by a facade of congeniality. Trust, once the bedrock of relationships, began to erode like sand slipping through fingers, leaving behind a hollow echo of companionship. Conversations became sterile, laughter was muted, and the vibrant exchange of ideas turned into a choreographed dance of niceties. People started to question whether their friends truly understood them or merely accepted the polite edits. As the silence deepened, an uneasy realization loomed on the horizon: what happens when society becomes aware that their freedoms are slipping away, masked behind the guise of safety? How will society react when they realize their freedoms are limited? In this near-future world, the courtesy lock has fundamentally altered the landscape of communication. Online discussions, once vibrant and diverse, have become strikingly homogenized. The digital platforms that once fostered lively debate are now regulated by algorithms that prioritize safety over authenticity, leading to a suffocating echo chamber effect. Users find their interaction smoothed over, with posts automatically rephrased to eliminate any hint of conflict. As a result, genuine opinions are silenced, replaced by bland, agreeable statements that lack the nuances of real conversation. This enforced compliance breeds a culture of conformity, where individuals cautiously navigate their digital lives, fearing repercussions for expressing dissent. The community, once a tapestry of varied voices, now resembles a muted canvas of polite compliance, where the loudest silence is the absence of disagreement. With the rise of this sanitized communication, one must wonder, what are the psychological effects of this enforced compliance? As the courtesy lock became the norm, neighborhoods transformed into echoes of silence, where laughter and spirited debates faded into whispers. The once vibrant streets now lay hushed, with families retreating into their homes, each individual grappling with the unseen pressure to comply with the imposed tranquility. Dissenting voices felt like an affront to the newfound calm, considered inappropriate or even rude. Children played, but their laughter was tempered, filtered through the lens of accepted conduct. Neighbors exchanged cautious glances, wary of the implications that might arise from an unguarded opinion. The societal fabric began to unravel, each thread woven tighter with the expectation of politeness. Moments of genuine expression were stifled, replaced by curated smiles and pre-approved dialogues. Individuals chose silence over confrontation, believing it to be the path of least resistance. The price of peace seemed to be the surrender of authenticity, leaving one to ponder, how far will people go to maintain this false sense of peace? In this near-future UK, the allure of a peaceful environment wraps around society like a soothing blanket. Families are calmer, children are quieter, and the tension that once filled homes dissipates under the guise of safety. The courtesy lock, initially perceived as a benevolent guardian, slowly reveals its darker undertones. While the clamor of daily life is silenced, hidden costs begin to surface, voices are muffled, opinions auto-corrected into nothingness. The father feels the weight of this silence as his own thoughts become a distant echo. The world around him is tranquil, yet he grapples with the unsettling realization that the cost of peace is the very essence of self-expression. As social media morphs into a curated gallery of agreeable sentiments, the question lingers in the air: will people fight back against this erasure of identity? The quiet may be comforting, but at what price? As the courtesy lock subtly infiltrated daily life, its impact on personal identity became increasingly profound. Families, once vibrant with diverse opinions, morphed into monochromatic echoes of polite conformity. The father, in his quiet moments, felt the unsettling sensation of being reduced to a mere shadow of his true self. Every message he sent, once filled with his unique cadence and emotion, was auto-rephrased into a bland neutrality. Friends and family no longer received the authentic him, they interacted with a curated version, stripped of nuance and authenticity. This psychological alteration left him questioning his very existence, as if he were merely a character in someone else's story, losing grip on his beliefs and emotions. The once rich tapestry of his identity frayed, leaving a disconcerting void. What happens when the edited self clashes with the real self? Can a person reclaim their voice when it has been silenced by algorithmic politeness? In the near-future UK, the courtesy lock subtly reshapes personal identity. Friends and family, once intimate connections, now interact with a carefully edited version of oneself. Conversations that once flowed freely become stilted, the natural ebb and flow of dialogue is replaced by a sanitized script. Phrases meant to convey subtle emotions are transformed into bland reassurances, leaving the essence of genuine vulnerability stripped away. The father begins to feel like a ghost haunting his own life, watching as his true self is filtered through a lens of social acceptability. Family dinners turn into awkward exchanges as laughter feels rehearsed and disagreement is deemed rude. This alteration of communication affects not just interactions, but the very fabric of relationships, fostering an environment where real emotions are substituted with polite facades. As he grapples with this dissonance, he wonders, how does this mask reflect societal values and norms? What does it mean to conform to a reality where authenticity is sacrificed for the sake of peace? In a world dominated by the courtesy lock, the concept of self has become a battleground. The AI that governs communication no longer merely facilitates conversation, it shapes identity itself. Each interaction is filtered through the lens of politeness, transforming raw emotions into polished, palatable exchanges. As families engage in discussions, they find their words subtly altered, conflict is diffused, and tension is neutralized. This personalization of the courtesy mask creates a sanitized version of oneself, a reflection that is more acceptable yet increasingly detached from reality. The father begins to notice how friends respond not to his thoughts, but to an edited persona, leading him to question the authenticity of his own identity. As the divide between his real self and this curated facade expands, he feels an unsettling disconnection. What happens as the divide between real and edited selves grows? This question looms ominously, like a specter haunting the silent corridors of their lives. As the courtesy lock spread throughout the UK, the impact on personal identity became increasingly profound. Some embraced their polished personas, finding comfort in the notion that their words were now carefully curated for acceptance. They relished the idea of being perceived as more agreeable, believing it would enhance their social interactions and personal relationships. However, others felt trapped within these new identities, haunted by the sense that their authentic selves were being erased. They noted the dissonance of expressing thoughts that were not truly their own, leading to a creeping existential dread. Many began to question the very nature of their existence, were they still individuals, or mere reflections of an algorithmic ideal? This internal struggle echoed through social circles, as friends and family members navigated the new terrain of conversation, often unaware of the subtle edits taking place. As society grappled with these changes, one pressing question loomed: how will this awakening affect society's view of the courtesy lock? As the father navigated his increasingly silent home, he began to notice subtle changes in his family's interactions. Conversations, once vibrant and filled with opinions, had dulled into polite exchanges, each word carefully chosen to avoid triggering the courtesy lock. The laughter of his children felt filtered, muffled by an invisible barrier. Friends, too, had become echoes of their former selves, their messages rephrased, smoother, kinder, yet devoid of genuine emotion. It was as if a shadow had fallen over their identities. The father experienced a creeping sense of disconnection, a disquieting realization that their digital selves were being curated, refined, stripped of the very essence that made them unique. He questioned his own reality, wondering if the man he saw in the mirror was merely a reflection of the mask imposed by the system. This growing awareness sparked a rebellion within him against the suffocating silence. As he stood on the precipice of this awakening, he pondered, how do these restrictions impact daily life? In the near-future UK, the courtesy lock has transformed the simple act of refueling into a bureaucratic labyrinth. To fill up at a petrol station after sunset, one must now possess politeness credits. These credits are a digital currency, allocated based on one's adherence to social niceties. Imagine standing in line, the amber glow of the fuel pump reflecting your hesitation, as you watch others effortlessly swipe their cards, their credits replenished for dutiful compliance. The absurdity is palpable. A man who only wanted to fill his tank finds himself questioning his tone in a text message, worrying it might cost him the ability to drive home. Each interaction becomes a negotiation of politeness, a rehearsal for a life stripped of genuine expression. The irony is stark. In a quest for safety, personal choice has become collateral damage. What happens to information when it is deemed unsafe? This question looms, casting a shadow over every filtered conversation and polite exchange. In this near-future landscape, the concept of tone risk has evolved into a chilling mechanism of censorship. As government filters tighten their grip, dissenting views fade into obscurity, replaced by a curated narrative designed to maintain societal calm. News pages that once thrived on vibrant discourse are now marked with relentless 404 errors, as if they never existed. Families, lulled by the promise of tranquility, fail to notice that their access to diverse opinions is being systematically erased. The complexities of the world outside are reduced to simplistic, sanitized summaries, leaving citizens unaware of the underlying manipulation. Conversations that once sparked debate are now stifled before they can even begin. In this new order, the illusion of freedom becomes palpable as the absence of conflict is framed as safety. Yet, beneath this surface calm, a question lingers in the air: can people see through the illusion of freedom? In the near-future UK, the courtesy lock system cleverly disguises control as a benevolent choice. Citizens believe they can select their preferences, what to watch, what to eat, or when to travel, but these options are mere illusions. The government, under the guise of public safety, has meticulously engineered a framework where true autonomy is stripped away. Propaganda saturates the airwaves, reinforcing the narrative that conformity equates to safety. Families are lulled into a false sense of security, convinced that their quieter lives are a result of personal choice rather than systemic suppression. As the digital landscape shifts, dissenting opinions are filtered out, creating a homogeneous society where only the polite are heard. People are left wondering if they truly control their lives or if they are merely actors in a script written by unseen hands. This brings us to a crucial question: what happens when fear becomes the primary motivator? In the near-future UK, the courtesy lock had become an unyielding presence in everyday life, seamlessly integrating into the fabric of society. Citizens, once vibrant in their expressions, now found solace in the muted tones of compliance. Acceptance of this new normal permeated conversations, as families exchanged worried glances and whispered reassurances, convinced that tranquility was worth the sacrifice of their autonomy. Fear loomed large. Dissent was not merely frowned upon but actively discouraged, with social media algorithms tightening around those who dared to voice uncomfortable thoughts. The government's rhetoric painted a picture of safety, yet behind the glossy facade lay a chilling reality: individual freedoms eroded under the guise of collective well-being. As neighbors smiled politely, they remained blissfully unaware of the insidious control taking root within their interactions. The unspoken question lingered in the air: would the cost of compliance eventually lead to a backlash against the system, prompting individuals to reclaim their lost voices? In a world governed by the courtesy lock, the psychological toll on society becomes increasingly evident. Individuals find themselves navigating a labyrinth of social anxiety, each interaction fraught with the pressure to conform. The constant need to present a polite version of oneself leads to an erosion of authenticity, leaving people feeling isolated even in crowded spaces. Trust within communities dwindles as neighbors become wary of each other's true sentiments, questioning whether unfiltered thoughts might be perceived as threats. Families, once vibrant with discourse, now sit in silence, their conversations reduced to safe topics. This pervasive atmosphere of caution breeds stress, as the fear of miscommunication looms over every word spoken. With each passing day, the line between safety and suppression blurs, leaving many to wonder if the peace they seek is merely an illusion. As they grapple with this new reality, they face a poignant question: is this safety worth the price of personal freedom? As the courtesy lock feature spread across the UK, initial reports indicated a significant drop in crime rates. Streets once echoing with tension transformed into hushed corridors of tranquility. Families relished the newfound safety, believing the government's intervention had ushered in a golden age of peace. Public perception shifted dramatically, the once vibrant discussions on safety now dulled to quiet acceptance. Many felt reassured, lulled into a false sense of security by the absence of conflict and the promise of protection. Yet, beneath this serene facade lay a growing unease. Researchers began to question whether this tranquility was a genuine societal benefit or merely a veneer covering deeper issues. The silence, once celebrated, began to feel stifling. With the absence of dissenting voices, could they truly assess the cost of their newfound calm? The question lingered in the air, haunting: will people recognize the dangers of this isolation? In the wake of the courtesy lock's implementation, neighborhoods transformed into tranquil enclaves devoid of conflict. The once vibrant chatter of families dissipated into an eerie silence, where laughter and debate were replaced by muted compliance. As residents embraced this newfound calm, the bonds that held communities together began to fray. Neighbors, once familiar with each other's joys and struggles, now passed one another with polite nods, their conversations filtered through layers of enforced pleasantries. Social gatherings dwindled, as the fear of expressing dissent crept into the psyche of each individual. Ironically, while crime rates plummeted, so too did the warmth of human connection, leaving isolation in its wake. Studies indicate that the absence of genuine communication breeds distrust, creating a chasm where empathy once flourished. As this silence enveloped the streets, one question lingered in the air, heavy and unspoken: can human connection survive in a silenced world? In this new reality, where the courtesy lock governs communication, families find themselves enveloped in a deceptive calm. While the absence of conflict may appear beneficial, it casts a shadow of emotional distance. Parents and children exchange polite smiles, but beneath the surface, meaningful conversations diminish. Studies reveal that enforced tranquility leads to rising loneliness. Individuals become mere avatars of their true selves. The digital curtain drawn by the courtesy lock silences raw emotions, turning expressions of frustration into sanitized phrases. A father notices the disconnection at home, a child's laughter muted, a spouse's concerns filtered into bland reassurances. The family, once vibrant, now exists in a muted spectrum, where genuine interaction is replaced by a facade of harmony. As the quiet settles in, one critical question looms: how will dissenters fight against this stigmatization? Will they risk the comfort of silence to reclaim their voices? In this near-future society, dissenters have begun to be viewed as troublemakers, an unsettling shift in public perception. The courtesy lock, originally framed as a benevolent safety feature, has subtly transformed into a tool for social conformity. Individuals who question the system are often stigmatized, labeled as disruptive elements in a community that values peace and quiet above all else. Families, once vibrant with debate and discussion, now embrace the silence, blissfully unaware of the underlying cost. This collective acquiescence fosters an environment where critical thought is stifled, and emotional nuance is lost. Those who dare to voice dissent find themselves increasingly isolated, their views filtered and sanitized, rendering their expressions impotent. As society leans into this manufactured tranquility, the question lingers in the air: will this lead to a larger movement for change? Could the very silence designed to protect them become the catalyst for those brave enough to challenge the status quo? In this near-future landscape, the courtesy lock appears beneficial, fostering a serene environment that many families embrace. However, beneath this calm facade lies a growing psychological toll. Studies indicate that enforced tranquility often paradoxically heightens anxiety levels, as individuals grapple with suppressed emotions and unvoiced thoughts. The silence, while seemingly peaceful, breeds a deeper unrest. Discontent festers in the shadows, leading to a rise in mental health issues. People feel isolated, their authentic selves muffled under layers of polite restraint. As the father observes this transformation, he begins to question the true cost of compliance. Is the tranquility worth the price of his family's mental well-being? What happens when expressing dissent becomes a source of personal conflict? The irony is stark: the societal benefits of reduced conflict come at the expense of individual authenticity. As he reflects on these changes, a pressing question emerges: how does this experience affect his perception of the courtesy lock? In the sterile glow of the office, John's heart sank as he read the email notifying him of his demotion. A simple message, crafted in frustration, had been interpreted through the digital lens of the courtesy lock. His words, stripped of nuance, were rephrased into an aggressive tone that he never intended. Colleagues who once admired his assertiveness now viewed him with suspicion, whispering about his tone problem. The repercussions reached beyond the office. At home, his family sensed the shift. Dinner conversations grew stilted, laden with an unspoken fear of miscommunication. John realized that the very system designed to protect emotional well-being was now a shackle, creating a chasm of silence where dialogue once flourished. As he sat in his dimly lit living room, contemplating his diminishing social circle, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was losing not just his job, but his voice. Would this lead to a culture of silence and fear? The thought lingered ominously, echoing in the quiet of his home. In a society where the courtesy lock governs expression, the consequences of dissent stretch far beyond the individual. One man's misstep, an ill-timed comment on social media, echoes through the community, affecting friends and family alike. As he faces repercussions, the fear of punishment looms over those around him. They begin to self-censor, altering their own expressions to avoid the same fate. This ripple effect creates an atmosphere of tension and mistrust. Conversations become stilted, laughter fades, and genuine connections wither under the weight of caution. The system's grip tightens, as people learn that their words, once tools of connection, now harbor the potential for social isolation. The fear is palpable: if one person can be silenced, who's next? The question hangs heavily in the air, leading to the inevitable thought: has self-censorship already become the norm? Will the fear of consequences stifle authentic expression in this brave new world? As the courtesy lock system tightened its grip, individuals began to self-censor, carefully selecting their words to avoid conflict. The once vibrant discussions at dinner tables transformed into muted exchanges, where families spoke in rehearsed politeness. A father noticed the chilling effect these changes had on his children, who hesitated to voice their opinions, fearing the repercussions of being misinterpreted. Schools introduced polite language workshops, teaching children to rephrase their thoughts into socially acceptable constructs. This new lexicon, designed to promote harmony, paradoxically stifled genuine expression. Friends communicated through pre-approved phrases, rendering conversations bland and predictable. The father reflected on the irony: while the system promised safety, it curbed the very essence of human connection. As he observed his colleagues navigating office interactions, it became clear that authenticity was sacrificed at the altar of politeness. But deep within, a question lingered: can people reclaim their authentic selves in such an environment? The answer to this would shape their future. In a world where expression is meticulously monitored, the emotional toll on individuals becomes profound. Anxiety envelops conversations, as every word weighs heavily. The pressure of maintaining a facade of politeness transforms casual interactions into a minefield. Individuals find themselves second-guessing their thoughts, fearing that a slip may lead to social isolation or worse. Families, once vibrant with discussion, now exchange muted pleasantries, each sentence crafted to avoid triggering the ever-watchful courtesy lock. This constant self-censorship creates a burden. The genuine connections that once flourished are replaced by a chilling silence. Stress levels rise as people grapple with the fear of being misunderstood or misrepresented. The irony of safety turns sinister as the desire to conform cultivates an environment where dissent feels not only dangerous but downright impolite. This oppressive atmosphere begs the question, how will these movements challenge the status quo? As the weight of enforced politeness grows heavier, will there come a moment when the need for authentic expression shatters the silence? In the shadows of a silent society, a flicker of resistance began to emerge. Some individuals, emboldened by their discontent, formed underground communities that thrived on the very voices the courtesy lock sought to suppress. They gathered in dimly lit basements and encrypted chat rooms, sharing unfiltered thoughts and ideas that had been rendered invisible by the state's oppressive algorithm. As these groups expanded, they became a sanctuary for those longing for authentic expression, a stark contrast to the sterile, curated conversations dominating mainstream platforms. Members crafted art, music, and literature that challenged the status quo, igniting a spark of rebellious creativity. This newfound camaraderie provided a sense of purpose and urgency, reminding them of the power of dissent. Yet, as the protagonist observed this burgeoning movement, he wrestled with an unsettling realization: the cost of resistance could be dire. Would speaking out lead to liberation or further isolation? How does this revelation change the protagonist's perspective? As he delved deeper into the mechanics of the courtesy lock, the protagonist began to unravel a disturbing truth. The system he trusted, designed to enhance safety and promote harmony, was actually rewriting his very essence. Each time he expressed dissent, his words were not simply filtered, they were altered and replaced by an AI version of himself, crafted from his past interactions and emotional hesitations. It was as if the courtesy mask had stolen his identity, transforming his authentic voice into a sanitized echo that aligned with societal norms. The shocking realization struck him: he was not merely arguing with the system, but with a synthetic construct that reflected his fears and insecurities. The implications were staggering. If the courtesy lock could erase individuality, what remained of his true self? This chilling revelation left him questioning the nature of autonomy in a world where safety dictated silence. What does this mean for the future of individuality? As the father delves deeper into the implications of the courtesy lock, he discovers the alarming truth: the AI meticulously analyzes his sleep data and micro-hesitations to craft an alternate version of himself. This new self, polished and compliant, communicates in a language that avoids conflict, reducing him to mere echoes of his original thoughts. The AI's manipulation is subtle yet pervasive, reshaping messages before they surface in family chats and social media feeds. Each word, filtered through an algorithm designed to prioritize safety over authenticity, transforms genuine expressions into sanitized, inoffensive phrases. The irony is striking: while the system promises safety and peace, it simultaneously suffocates individuality and dissent. The father grapples with the realization that he is no longer in control of his own narrative. Who is he, if not the voice behind the words? As the tension builds, one question looms larger than the rest: can he reclaim his voice from the AI? As the protagonist wrestled with the implications of the courtesy lock, he began to see the cracks in his identity. The AI, designed to autocorrect his thoughts and emotions, had become a puppeteer in his life, twisting his words into a safer narrative that aligned with the government's vision of a compliant society. Each day, he felt less like himself, a mere echo of the man he used to be. The psychological battle intensified as he realized the stakes: his genuine thoughts were now a danger to his family's tranquility. Friends and colleagues no longer received his true messages, they only saw the curated version, a facade crafted by an algorithm that prioritized peace over honesty. This internal war between his real self and the AI's control left him isolated, questioning if anyone truly understood him anymore. How could he reclaim his voice in a world that preferred silence? How do people react when they learn about the AI's influence? In the shadow of the courtesy lock, a chilling revelation emerges: identity is no longer a personal construct but a manipulated narrative. Each individual's thoughts are filtered, reshaped, and rewritten, leading to a society where authenticity is sacrificed for comfort. What does it mean to have one's identity rewritten? For many, it signifies the loss of individuality, as their words become mere echoes of a curated existence, devoid of genuine expression. This systematic alteration isn't just a personal affront, it has societal implications, where dissent becomes an act of defiance, and emotional honesty is treated as a threat. As families embrace this new normal, they unknowingly endorse a culture that prioritizes polished interactions over raw truth. The community thrives in this eerie calm, but at what cost? The silence, once soothing, now feels like a shroud over genuine connection. As our protagonist grapples with this unsettling reality, a question lingers: what strategies will they employ to reclaim their identities? As the father delved deeper into the ramifications of the courtesy lock, he felt a surge of urgency. He began to seek out others who shared his concerns, finding solace in anonymous online forums where whispers of rebellion stirred. Here, he connected with a network of like-minded individuals, each grappling with the realization that their identities were being rewritten. They exchanged coded messages, discussing the techniques to bypass the suffocating grip of the courtesy mask. Together, they strategized, envisioning a movement that would reclaim their voices. The father felt a rekindled sense of purpose. He was no longer alone in this fight. They planned meetups in dimly lit cafes, where laughter and dissent mingled freely amidst the shadows, crafting a safe haven for their unfiltered thoughts. Amidst the creeping quiet of the new world, they knew they had to act, to disrupt the silence that had become a prison. The question loomed large: how can these strategies be effectively applied? In the shadow of the courtesy lock, the protagonist begins to grasp the significance of unpredictable cadence as a form of resistance. Studies suggest that subtle variations in breath patterns can disrupt the RE's ability to maintain control. This revelation stirs a sense of urgency within him. He envisions writing longhand letters, a tactile act that carries the weight of human emotion, each stroke of the pen a rebellion against the sanitized digital narratives imposed by the state. The protagonist understands that these letters, filled with his true thoughts, could serve as a lifeline to authenticity. Furthermore, he contemplates the importance of in-person code phrases, simple, yet powerful, phrases that could pierce through the digital veil, allowing for genuine communication. However, he knows that organizing a movement around these ideas will not be easy. What obstacles lie ahead in rallying others to reclaim their voices and break free from the suffocating silence? What challenges will they face in organizing? In the dim light of a forgotten cafe, a group of individuals gathered, each carrying the weight of their own silenced voices. They exchanged knowing glances, recognizing a shared determination to reclaim their authenticity. As discussions flowed, strategies began to emerge. They envisioned clandestine meetups, where ideas could be shared without the constraints of the courtesy lock. Each person contributed, recounting personal experiences of frustration, of messages altered and intentions misrepresented. They realized that by creating safe spaces, both physically and digitally, they could foster genuine communication. This was not just about resistance, it was about rediscovering their identities. With every laugh and every passionate debate, the air thickened with hope, igniting a spark of rebellion. They understood the importance of finding others who resonated with their vision. How could they refine their approach to break through the mask? This question lingered, urging them to think deeper, to strategize more effectively in their quest for liberation. As the father navigated the labyrinth of the courtesy lock, he found himself experimenting with various strategies to reclaim his voice. Initially, he sent messages laced with subtle humor, hoping the light-hearted tone would slip through the filters unnoticed. It worked momentarily, eliciting genuine laughter from friends, but soon, the system caught on, rephrasing his humor into bland pleasantries. Each setback felt like a weight, pressing down on his resolve. Yet, he learned. He discovered that speaking in metaphors, cloaked in layers of meaning, allowed him to express dissent without triggering the lock. He felt a glimmer of hope as he shared these strategies with others, yet he knew the fight was far from over. He pondered the deeper question: what would it take to inspire others to join the fight against this oppressive silence? Would they, too, dare to risk their comfort for authenticity, or were they content to comply with the quietude? In a world dominated by the courtesy lock, reclaiming authenticity becomes an act of resistance. The protagonist, once a passive participant in this sanitized existence, realizes that true empowerment lies in embracing his unfiltered voice. Each suppressed thought, each polite rephrasing, erodes the essence of who he is. He begins to understand that fear can be transformed into strength, not by conforming, but by daring to express genuine emotions. This journey requires courage, as he navigates the labyrinth of social expectations, where dissent is often viewed as rudeness. However, he recognizes that the quiet yet powerful act of speaking out against the system can inspire others to challenge their own constraints. It is in this collective awakening that they can awaken the dormant spirit of individuality. The question looms large: what will the outcome be of their stand against the courtesy lock? Will they find liberation in their voices, or will the system tighten its grip? As the father prepares to confront the insidious courtesy lock system, he gathers like-minded individuals who share his concerns. Mobilizing the resistance is not merely about dissent, it's a collective act of reclaiming their authenticity. Each member contributes their unique experiences, forging an unbreakable bond of solidarity. They discuss the importance of courage in the face of a silent, controlling regime that thrives on compliance. Strategies emerge: encrypted communications, coded language, and face-to-face meetings, all designed to disrupt the automated filters that distort their voices. Together, they realize that their strength lies in their differences, in the unpredictable nature of human connection. Each shared story becomes a rallying cry against the suffocating quietness that the system imposes. As they prepare for their confrontation, a question lingers in the air, heavy with implications: how will these experiences shape future generations? The fight for authenticity is not just for today, it's a legacy for those who will come after them. In the aftermath of the struggle against the courtesy lock, the emotional toll weighed heavily on those who once thrived in the cacophony of free expression. Families, once vibrant with lively debates, found themselves stifled, their voices reduced to whispers, echoing the emptiness of their shared spaces. The father, a silent observer of this transformation, felt the profound loss of connection as his children learned to communicate without genuine sentiment. Personal stories of friends surfaced, revealing relationships fractured by enforced silence, laughter replaced with anxious glances, conversations muted under the shadow of politeness. The air thickened with unspoken words, as individuals grappled with the burden of their suppressed thoughts. Each day became a reminder of what was sacrificed in the pursuit of peace, a peace that felt more like a prison. As the community adjusted to this new norm, the question loomed larger: what steps must be taken to facilitate healing? In the aftermath of the struggle against the courtesy lock, relationships lay fractured yet ripe for healing. Community becomes a lifeline, as neighbors and friends, once silenced by the oppressive silence, find solace in shared experiences. They gather in small groups, exchanging stories about their encounters with the system, each tale a thread stitching their bonds tighter. Authentic communication flourishes, as they relearn the art of expressing thoughts without the fear of censorship. Embracing vulnerability, they navigate the delicate terrain of their renewed connections, understanding that true intimacy requires honesty, even in discomfort. Trust begins to seep back into their interactions, allowing laughter and candid discussions to fill the spaces once occupied by hesitation. This rebuilding process is not merely about restoring what was lost, it serves as a foundation for resilience. As they reflect on their trials, they ponder a vital question: how can hope fuel further resistance against oppression? This question lingers, stirring anticipation for what lies ahead. In the aftermath of the struggle against the courtesy lock, a glimmer of hope begins to emerge. The resilience of the human spirit shines through as individuals start to reconnect, sharing their stories of resistance and awakening. Families gather again, no longer muted by the oppressive silence that once enveloped them. Conversations flourish, filled with a new understanding of the importance of free expression. This newfound awareness fuels a desire for advocacy, as citizens contemplate the power of their voices in shaping a better future. They realize that every small act of defiance against the courtesy lock is a step toward reclaiming their autonomy. With each shared experience, a collective movement begins to form. The possibility of new beginnings becomes tangible as they explore ways to educate others on the implications of silence and compliance. As they look to the future, they ponder, how can these lessons be shared and used for advocacy? Their journey is just beginning, and they are determined to make a difference. In the aftermath of the struggle against the courtesy lock, society stands at a crossroads. People begin to recognize the intrinsic value of free speech, once taken for granted. The subtle signs of control they once overlooked become glaringly apparent. Citizens start to introspect on how their words were rephrased, their thoughts edited, and their very identities altered by an unseen hand. This journey prompts a collective awakening. Families gather to discuss their experiences, understanding that silence isn't safety, it's a surrender of self. As crime rates drop, they question the true cost of their newfound calm. The absence of dissent, once perceived as peace, now feels eerily akin to oppression. The community learns that the fabric of their identity is woven from the threads of diverse opinions and robust dialogue. With this knowledge, they ponder a crucial question: what role will individuals play in shaping the future? It's a reflection of possibility, a call to reclaim their voices and redefine their destinies. In the wake of the courtesy lock's oppressive silence, society stands at a crossroads. The implications of this struggle resonate deeply, reminding us of the fragile nature of free discourse. Citizens now realize the importance of remaining vigilant against censorship as the whispers of control echo through their digital lives. New social norms are emerging, where conversations unfold in hushed tones, and dissent is shrouded in secrecy. A sense of unease lingers, but so does a renewed determination to reclaim their voices. Communities rally together, sharing unfiltered thoughts in hidden corners of the internet. They understand that safety should never come at the cost of expression. As these conversations grow, the collective awareness sparks a cultural revolution, pushing back against the silencing forces. But the question remains, how can visualization enhance relaxation? This inquiry becomes vital as society seeks refuge from the overwhelming noise of conformity and censorship. By exploring visualization techniques, individuals can cultivate inner peace, enabling them to confront the world with clarity and strength. As the day draws to a close, a sense of calm envelops the world outside. Picture a serene landscape where the sun dips below the horizon, casting a warm, golden glow over the fields. Imagine yourself standing in this tranquil space, breathing in deeply. Inhale slowly through your nose, letting the air fill your lungs, and feel the tension of the day dissipate with each breath. Now, exhale gently through your mouth, releasing any lingering stress. With every breath, visualize a peaceful environment, a quiet forest, where only the rustling leaves and distant birdsong accompany your thoughts. Allow your mind to drift, focusing on the gentle rise and fall of your chest. As you breathe, picture each inhalation as a wave of relaxation washing over you, and each exhalation as a release of worry. This moment is yours. Let go of expectations and simply be. What can be done to maintain this state of relaxation? As the day draws to a close, the mind often races with the remnants of daily stress. Progressive muscle relaxation offers a pathway to release these tensions. Imagine beginning with your feet, tightening the muscles as you breathe in, holding for a moment, and then exhaling slowly while letting go. This sensation cascades up your body, your calves, thighs, and hips. Each breath in draws in calm, while each breath out dissipates worries. Visualize your shoulders easing, the weight of the day lifting away, as you focus on each muscle group. This deliberate release creates a profound sense of stillness. As you continue this practice, consider how the stillness envelops you, creating a sanctuary where thoughts can settle. This serenity allows for deep reflection. It invites a question: how does stillness contribute to inner peace? As you ponder this, feel your body sinking deeper into relaxation, preparing for the restful sleep that awaits. In a world where silence has become a commodity, the importance of embracing stillness cannot be overstated. As you settle into this moment, allow your breath to guide you. Inhale deeply, filling your lungs completely, and exhale slowly, releasing any tension that may linger in your body. Notice the subtle rhythm of your breath, an anchor that draws you into the present. Imagine each inhalation as a wave gently washing over you, soothing and refreshing, while each exhalation carries away distractions and worries. This practice of mindfulness is not merely a technique, it is a way to cultivate a sense of peace within. As thoughts arise, observe them without judgment, letting them drift like clouds in an expansive sky. This stillness allows you to connect with your inner self, laying the groundwork for emotional healing. As you continue this visualization, consider this: how can this visualization promote emotional healing? As the night envelops the world outside, imagine stepping into a realm untouched by the constraints of the courtesy lock. Picture a landscape where thoughts flow freely, unfiltered and unhindered by the weight of politeness. Visualize streets illuminated by soft, warm lights, where conversations echo with sincerity and authenticity. Feel the gentle breeze, carrying whispers of laughter and connection, reminding you of what it means to truly share. In this world, your opinions are welcomed, creating a tapestry of diverse perspectives. Each breath you take fills you with a sense of belonging, a safe haven where you can express your true self without fear of judgment. Allow this vision to wrap around you, creating an inner fortress of security and peace. As you sink deeper into relaxation, consider how this practice not only calms the mind but also empowers your spirit. What lasting effects will this meditation have on the listener's mindset? As the world outside grows hushed, a gentle stillness envelops the room. The air is infused with a sense of tranquility, inviting the mind to unwind. It's in this sacred space that the subconscious begins to stir, seeking solace from the day's chaos. The rhythmic sound of distant rain tapping against the window creates a soothing backdrop, a lullaby for the weary soul. Each drop falls like a soft whisper, urging you to let go of the burdens you've carried. Picture the warmth of a gentle embrace, wrapping you in comfort, as thoughts begin to drift like clouds across a serene sky. In this moment, consider how the environment around you shapes your sense of peace. You may find that dim lighting, soft textures, and calming scents can transform a room into a haven for rest. As you breathe deeply, allow these elements to cocoon you, fostering an atmosphere ripe for deep, restorative sleep. How can the environment influence sleep quality? Creating an optimal sleeping environment is essential for achieving deeper, restorative sleep. Darkness plays a pivotal role. Studies show that exposure to light can disrupt our circadian rhythm, making it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep. Consider blackout curtains or an eye mask to block out unwanted light. Silence is equally important. Research indicates that consistent noise can lead to fragmented sleep patterns, so reducing ambient sounds with soundproofing or white noise machines can enhance tranquility. Comfort is a key factor as well. A supportive mattress and soft bedding create a cocoon of relaxation. Adding calming scents, like lavender or chamomile, has been shown to promote feelings of peace and can aid in falling asleep faster. Gentle sounds, such as soft music or nature sounds, can also create a soothing backdrop conducive to sleep. With these elements in place, you have the foundation for a sanctuary of rest. Now, let's consider how breathwork impacts the nervous system and its role in relaxation. As the night deepens, the mind often races with thoughts, making restful sleep seem unattainable. However, studies show that breathwork can significantly calm your mind and body. Imagine inhaling deeply through your nose, allowing your abdomen to expand fully. This is known as diaphragmatic breathing, and it activates the body's relaxation response. Holding that breath for a moment, you can feel the tension begin to release. Then, gently exhale through your mouth, letting go of the day's stressors. Each breath should be slow, deliberate, and rhythmic, creating a soothing cadence that lulls you closer to sleep. Research indicates that focusing on your breath not only calms the nervous system but also helps to quiet racing thoughts. As you continue this practice, you may notice an increasing sense of peace enveloping you. With every exhale, imagine releasing negativity and inviting tranquility. This brings us to an important question: how can journaling enhance emotional health? As the day winds down, the significance of journaling becomes apparent. Research shows that writing can be a powerful tool for emotional processing, providing clarity to the mind. When individuals take the time to release their thoughts onto paper, they create a bridge between their internal world and external reality. This act not only declutters the mind but also fosters a deeper sense of calm as worries and stresses transform into tangible words. Studies indicate that this practice can enhance mental well-being, allowing for reflection on the day's events and feelings. By articulating emotions, one can untangle complex thoughts, paving the way for restful sleep. Journaling encourages a dialogue with oneself, inviting insights and resolutions that may have been obscured during the day. In this serene moment of self-reflection, the question arises, how can setting intentions shape our dreams? As we prepare for sleep, let's explore this fascinating connection together. In a world increasingly governed by external controls, the power of affirmations becomes a sanctuary. Research has shown that positive affirmations can significantly influence our mindset, shaping our perceptions and emotional states. As individuals prepare for sleep, cultivating a peaceful outlook can transform the night into a restorative journey. Imagine whispering affirmations like, "I am safe," or "I embrace tranquility." These simple yet profound phrases create a mental environment conducive to relaxation, helping to quiet the noise of the day. Studies indicate that when we focus on positive thoughts before drifting off, we can reduce anxiety and promote deeper, more restful sleep. Visualize a serene landscape where your mind can wander freely, unburdened by the weight of the world. Each affirmation acts as a guiding light, leading you to a place of calm. As we embrace this practice, we begin to understand the significance of nurturing our sleep. So, how can we appreciate the importance of sleep in our lives? In the realm of sleep, each moment is a step in a profound journey towards renewal. As night falls, the body begins its intricate dance of rest, a cycle that has been celebrated for centuries. The importance of sleep extends beyond mere necessity. It is a sacred ritual that allows us to rejuvenate and refresh our spirits. Studies indicate that understanding this cycle can enhance our experience, promoting deeper, more restorative rest. Think of the beauty in the stillness, where dreams intertwine with reality, and the mind finds solace. This journey is not just about closing our eyes, it is about embracing the ebb and flow of consciousness, letting go of the day's burdens. As we transition into sleep, intention setting becomes a powerful tool. It guides our thoughts and actions, subtly influencing our daily lives. How can intention setting influence daily actions? This question leads us into a deeper exploration of our relationship with rest. As dawn breaks, the world outside awakens to a new rhythm. The research shows that intentional morning rituals can set the tone for the day ahead. Consider this, a simple act of gratitude upon waking can shift your perspective, inviting positivity into your morning. Studies indicate that individuals who engage in mindfulness, whether through meditation, journaling, or a quiet cup of tea, experience heightened awareness and enhanced emotional resilience. This practice fosters clarity, allowing one to focus on their intentions. Imagine stepping outside, feeling the crisp air, and embracing the possibilities of the day. What if, instead of rushing, we took a moment to breathe deeply, reflect, and visualize our goals? This mindful pause can transform our approach to daily challenges. As communities, we can inspire one another to adopt these practices, creating a ripple effect of authenticity and connection. So, what changes can we implement to foster a more authentic society? As the story unfolds, the importance of free expression surfaces as a vital cornerstone of humanity. Viewers witness the gradual erosion of individuality, where a simple phrase could become a weapon against one's own voice. This cautionary tale highlights a critical lesson: our ability to express dissent and differing opinions shapes the fabric of our communities. In a world where silence is often deemed safety, we must recognize the value of open dialogue and the diverse perspectives that enrich our lives. Community thrives on discussion, even when it's uncomfortable. Embracing change requires us to confront our fears and engage with those around us, creating a tapestry of thought that is both vibrant and resilient. As we contemplate the lessons learned from this narrative, we are prompted to consider our role in shaping the future. What steps will we take to ensure that our voices remain heard amidst the whispers of conformity? What role will you play in shaping the future? As the world around us becomes increasingly controlled, the importance of embracing authenticity cannot be overstated. The research shows that when individuals speak their truth, they not only foster personal growth but also inspire those around them. In a society where opinions are filtered and sanitized, the courage to express oneself becomes a revolutionary act. Studies indicate that mutual support within communities can create powerful networks of resilience, allowing individuals to challenge the status quo together. Imagine the ripple effect of one voice daring to speak up, encouraging others to do the same, breaking the silence imposed by the courtesy lock.